Hello, Year 7s. I hope that you are well. In today's lesson, we will be focusing on how plants are adapted to different environments. Please ensure that you're in a quiet place, ready to begin the lesson. Our first task is to complete the retrieval practice. Please pause the video in order to attempt these 6 questions now. The first question states, name 2 vessels that plants use to transport substances. That would be the xylem and phloem, which are parts of the plant's vascular system. The second question says, name 1 reactant needed for photosynthesis. Remember that this is a substance changed by a chemical reaction, and this could be either water or carbon dioxide. Number 3 says, what is the chemical formula for glucose? That would be C6H12O6. That's 6 carbons, 12 hydrogen, and 6 oxygen. Question 4 says, where in a plant cell does photosynthesis happen? That would be in the chloroplast. 5 says, what is the function of the nucleus? The nucleus stores the DNA and controls cell processes. And finally, how are stomata adapted to stop water from exiting the leaf? They can open and close the guard cells. So our success criteria for today's lesson is to be able to define what adaptations are, to know and recognize that plants have adaptations, and to explain why plants have the adaptations they do. Nadine mixed grass seeds with sand. She put the mixture into 3 mesh bags to make 3 model heads. She soaked 2 of the bags in water. The 3 drawings below show the model heads after 1 week. Which 2 heads did Nadine soak in water? Give the letters and say how you can tell. Please pause the video and attempt to do this now. Well done, Year 7, if you chose A and C. That is because water serves as a raw material for various chemical processes in the plant, including photosynthesis. The growth of plants is dramatically affected by the timing and the amount of water applied. Nadine put a watered model near a window. Why did the grass grow towards the window? Please pause the video and attempt to answer this question now. Plants can differentiate and develop in response to light. This allows them to optimize their use of light and space. They can tell the time of day, the time of year by sensing and using various wavelengths of sunlight. Here we see that the light has caused a directional response in Nadine's plant, and this allows it to grow towards it. They can even grow away from the light. This is known as phototropism. So, here are some examples of past questions. Bindweed is a plant that grows tightly around other plants. This drawing shows bindweed growing around a rose bush. Complete the sentences below. Choose from the words in the list. Our words are air, light, support, water, minerals. Please write the sentences out and fill in the gaps. Pause the video and do this now. So number 1, bindweed grows as high as possible on the rose bush so that the bindweed can get as much light as possible. Bindweed grows around the rose bush because the rose bush provides support for the bindweed. Tick your work if you got it right, correct it if you weren't too sure. So a gardener cut through the stem of the bindweed at X. This is X here. Why did the bindweed die? Was it because there was no air, no warmth, no light, or no water? Please pause the video and attempt this question now. Right, so hopefully you recognize the fact that it was because there was no water. Plants absorb water through the roots. By cutting the water source, the bindweed died. The gardener adds fertilizer to the soil to help her rose bushes to grow well. What do plants get from the fertilizer? Is it acids, minerals, sugars, or vitamins? The answer would be minerals. Some of you may have thought it would have been vitamins. Minerals include potassium, nitrogen, and phosphorus. Vitamins are organic substances. They are obtained from animal plants. Minerals, however, are inorganic substances. So, what is an adaptation? Every organism has certain features or characteristics that allow it to live successfully in its habitat. These features are called adaptations, and we say that the organism is adapted to its habitat. Organisms living in different habitats need different adaptations. For instance, this bear can eat fish, nuts, and seeds, but mostly loves to eat fish. He lives in wild forests, near rivers and streams. How is he adapted to survive? Please pause the video and think about this now. He has sharp claws and canine-like teeth for hunting. He is built like a runner, even though he doesn't look it. He can outrun any human, reaching speeds of over 30 miles per hour. He has the ability to hibernate, that is to spend the winter in a dormant state. Plants are also adapted to their environment. They have really cool weapons to fend off attacks. For example, the defense can start in the trunks, which is full of something called lignin, a rigid web of compounds that's tough to chew on and are highly impermeable. They're difficult to break down by pathogens, and these are organisms that causes disease. We also have the famous Venus flytrap that is able to supplement its regular diet with insects. They are known as carnivorous plants, and they tend to grow in places with highly acidic soil, which are poor in nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. In such hostile conditions, they can attack prey and are more likely to survive than those that don't. This is an unusual plant known as the skunk cabbage, and it is also adapted to its environment. It can heat up and melt the snow covering the ground in order to gain access to the water. So, year sevens, let's see how much you know about the cactus. Where can cacti be found? How are they adapted for living there? To help you, what do they look like? And how are they different to common plants we see in England? Please pause the video and think about this question now. You may have observed that a cactus plant grows in the hot, dry, and cold conditions of the desert. It has been adapted to these conditions by creating a thick waxy layer on the outside of its stems and leaves. This helps to retain water and protect its tissue from intense sunlight. Its prickliness is a defense against predators, and they have the capacity to absorb water really quickly because they have shallow roots. Finally, year sevens, here is some independent work for you. Choose an environment from around the world and write down 3 adaptations a plant might need in order to live there. Fantastic effort, year sevens. Well done.